Hey guys, this is Lola, but you can call me Lola if you like.
Hi, this is Velisa, and you can call me Vels if you want. And this is the Everybody Hates HR podcast, episode 112. 112, 112, peaches and cream. That's right.
Okay.
Do you know what? Our target audience that watches us, like majority, are actually millennials. So we can do stuff like that and they'll actually get it.
I love that you're finally sitting into who you really are.
For now.
Yeah. So let's get straight into HR stuff today.
Let's get straight into it.
What do you want to talk about?
Oh, what do I want to talk about?
I have some things.
I feel like you have some things to get off your chest, first and foremost.
LinkedIn. You're right. I need to do some sort of public service announcement, but LinkedIn is getting out of control. Why are people posting what they're posting on LinkedIn? Like, there's always been people being like, oh, LinkedIn, people just go on there to show off the kind of things that they post, but it's now becoming satire.
100%.
It's satiric. Like, my friend sent me a post of a woman. Yeah, I hope she's well and everything, but she was like, people always post their wins and their career highs. Did I show it to you?
No.
But they never post their lows. This is me at my lowest possible moment after I've been hospitalized. I didn't laugh.
Should that be on LinkedIn?
I need to show you the post. I'm actually going to show you the post, but I can't put it on here because it's got someone's face in it. And then the picture that was accompanying it was her in a hospital looking very sick with her wrist up to show her hospital band. And I just lost it. I've just lost it. I said, what is this? Like, it's getting out of control. Hold on.
Sorry.
No, come on.
But why does this have to be on LinkedIn?
There's a screenshot that my friend sent me.
That is ridiculous.
Look, zoom into the picture.
She even has a PhD and this is what she wants to do. Nah, this is crazy.
That's insane, isn't it? I wish I could. We can't. It'll be very inappropriate for us to share this image, but she looks sick though, innit?
She does. She does.
Sick. But yeah, it says everybody shares their triumphs and achievements. Nobody wants to show their vulnerabilities and troughs. I am feeling the lowest in my life when I am hospitalized. Obviously, there's some sign language stuff there, but can you even read? You can even read her name on her hospital, but the number. I can even scan this QR code.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I feel like LinkedIn now, I can't tell when someone's trolling or not, because when you see posts and it's like, oh, my mum was in the garden and I'm thinking, where's this going? Like, what? Okay, your mum's in the garden, and then it ends up being about, oh, you must plant your roots before your seed can grow and all this.
It's just like, getting out of control.
What is happening?
It's getting out of control. Let me tell you what my divorce told me about B2B sales.
Like what? I'm sorry, but recruiters are the worst on LinkedIn. They are insufferable.
They are.
Just do your job and be searching for people.
I'm back. They'll post their wedding picture.
Literally.
And they'll be like, I'm back from 3 wonderful months off, or I don't know, 3 wonderful weeks off with my new husband, my new wife. Life is different for me now. These are the roles that we're recruiting.
Like what? Like what?
I like you people, like not you using your. Oh, they can even post a picture of their kids, and they'll be
people
like,
post their kids. Their
you had a great
anniversary.
weekend. You should have a great weekend too. Let's start by getting you an offer. Here's the roles we're recruiting. I'm like, you people are sick. People are using their own children as no. It's actually, here's another one. What I would say about this one is that the post itself was sort of relevant. It was like, oh, being a working mum, blah, blah, blah. This is the picture.
Oh, I wish you could put this one
up.
I
can't put that one up.
I basically just imagine like your typical towy lip filler, hair rolls, blonde, like pouting in a photo
with him holding a baby, with rollers in.
Yeah, with hair rollers
in.
Yeah,
and then this is all. Sorry, this is all from the same account. So it wasn't a one-off.
Oh, so she's just
maternity shoots.
Wow, so she's treating this like another like Instagram page. This is Instagram. Why is this stuff on here?
Anyway,
LinkedIn.
but it's getting out of control now, and I'm just like, we need to have moderators. We need to be moderating the content on LinkedIn because some of it is rubbish.
Like I've forgotten what LinkedIn is actually for, because now when you go on, you're just bombarded with posts and posts and posts of people sharing things that we don't need to know. Why do I know what your kids look like? Why do I know what your elderly parents look like? Why do I know unless it's relevant? Like if someone's saying, oh, I'm running a charity race for blah, that's absolutely fine. But please, like, just in general, like, no. Do you know what I like? Do you know who is a menace on LinkedIn, but I love it? Lauren, that came onto the podcast from the Work on It.
Yeah.
She is a menace on LinkedIn. Do you know what she does? Say a company posts a job advert.
She does it on TikTok as well.
She criticizes. She goes under their post and criticizes the whole thing. Like she drags it apart, and then you see her comments getting like.
They hate her. I know they hate to see her coming.
I love it. She does it all the time, and I'm like, do you know what? You don't work for no one. You can do this. This is actually part of your job. You're a consultant. Let them know. Maybe they'll hire you.
Yeah, it's really getting out of control. Like it's so much of like hey, I'm such a good leader. This is what I did, or even the way. And please forgive me, please. You guys know that I'm a good person. Even the way people are looking for jobs, is remember it was what the desperate banner.
She got a job and lost it very quickly.
Are you joking?
I don't know what happened. I don't think she was sacked, but it didn't last, and then she's got her desperate banner back up.
Listen, the desperate banner is one thing, but then the being desperate without the irony of the banner is another thing. Like I've seen people on LinkedIn. I know it's hard. I know times are hard, but I just need people to think what is going to encourage people to actually hire you. And they're like, guys, I really need a job now. I'm down to my last 5p in savings. I'll take anything. Help me. And I'm just like, I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me.
I feel like that's the Nigerian in you.
No, it's not even about begging or looking, but it's just like that is actually not going to help you to find a job. I don't think so, because people might amplify it, but that doesn't encourage people to what you like. Saying that it doesn't encourage people to want to. They don't know your skills. They don't know anything about you, and it just like unfortunately the way people think is like, okay, why are you so desperate and why haven't you got anything and
to offer?
It doesn't seem like you have anything. It's like literally, I'll take anything. I don't think I don't think it's good for even the person posting it.
I feel like people have gotten to a point where they do feel like being vulnerable on social media is going to help them. I think you have to really think about the platform that you're offering vulnerability to. LinkedIn is not that platform. If you went on TikTok and said, this is day 2 of me being unemployed and this is what I'm doing,
I don't need you to do anything, but I amplify this video. I'm going to repost the video.
Exactly. That's going to boost. That's going to boost. That's even going to start a whole new career for you in terms of like influencing. Yes. But going onto LinkedIn and saying like my mental health is in the bin. Granted. That is so sad. But you're right. Like that's not going to help you get a job.
Most employers, unfortunately, they don't want to take on people who they think they have mental health challenges, because they're just like, oh, what if they in sick and all this other kind of stuff. So there's a way that you share vulnerability, and you have to I just think people need to be smarter on LinkedIn. Some of it is not gonna
network. The whole point of LinkedIn is about having a network. You go to jobs, who works there, who's a second connect, who do you know that knows somebody that like it's all about referrals, it's about DMs, it's all about that stuff. Like it's not about it's really not about those posts. It's not.
And I think I do self-promotion on LinkedIn all the time. Like I don't do as much of it. I do more of it for the pod now, to be fair. But there's a way to promote yourself in a way which I think feels authentic and doesn't turn people off. Like we were saying on the last episode, we have 1,000 followers on YouTube now. I went on LinkedIn and I was like, guys, we're really trying to, we've done all these wonderful things with the pod, and we're really trying to grow on YouTube, and it would be great if you could have a listen to the podcast. If you like it, give us a follow. We're trying to get to 1,000. Fine. Do you know what I mean? Like there's an element of, I even said, oh, need a favor. Like there's an element of, okay, I need a favor, but there's still a bit of a value exchange there. Like we're creating this, awesome content for you. Have a look at it. If you like it, follow it. Do you know what I mean? Like there's an element of vulnerability that we're trying to do this thing now. We could do with some help, but it doesn't have to feel like so beggy. I don't know what to, I don't know. But LinkedIn is out of control in every single way. every single day. Even the jobs, like even if you're applying for jobs, yeah, even the way LinkedIn have set it up, so you can someone want to apply for a job and it will see 372 people have already applied. It will just discourage you from wanting to do it.
So they've changed it now because there's been a lot of complaints.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's
what
been.
What is it now?
So now it says 100 people have clicked.
Okay.
Instead of applied, because when it says applied, that meant that it was the amount of people that clicked.
Yeah, because a lot of it is like if you click through and then it asks you if you've applied or it just decide. And also, it's not good for companies because it will discourage people from applying. It might have been 100 people that clicked, but only 3 of them applied, and now it's discouraging the other people from applying. So,
also, do you know, it's kind of linked, but it's not really about LinkedIn. But it's about jobs. I saw a tweet of somebody saying that they were speaking to a manager at work, and the manager said that they interviewed 2 or 3 people and everybody can do the job, and they basically went with the person who was the most bubbly. Yeah. And then like the person who tweeted it was like, oh, I genuinely didn't know that like being bubbly, like being the bubbliest is what was gonna get somebody the job.
That's just a bit of bias of it depends on the team, because for some people you could be
that could be a turn off.
Yeah, you could be like, oh, she's gonna talk too much to me.
There's one person I used to work with, and I always think if she was like this in the interview, you guys hate me. Like when she joined my team, I was like, you guys hate me. She was so enthusiastic. Us people with ER, we're not enthusiastic people. Like we don't need this optimism around us. Like
go work in employee engagement.
Yeah, like please
go work
back.
in comms.
Yeah. I said if this was she was like an interview, like
why,
like why is she here? Like
the most qualified. But I do think it makes a difference as well. Like I'm not shocked at that. As somebody who could be considered to be quote unquote bubbly.
The thing is, but this is the thing. This is why I kind of on the fence about it, because somebody like you are there for the thrill of it. Like you could go to an interview and you will thrive. Like your whole mentality towards that interview is, I get it. Exactly. I know that I'm the shit. So if I go, you're gonna love me or you're gonna hate me, but it's not because I can't do the job. Do you get it? Whereas like there's other people who go to interviews really nervous or really reserved, thinking that an interview is an interview. Yeah. But I feel like as you progress in your career, interviews do become more conversational. Yeah. But I feel like as you're starting, so maybe you are going in a bit more nervous. Yeah. And you are a bubbly person, but you're like, oh my gosh, I'm meeting the head of blah, blah, blah. So you're a bit stiff.
I wouldn't base it on that as well, but especially when people are more junior, because you never know how people are going to perform in an interview. But it does happen that you know what they call the personality hire. They can be the personality hire just because they're the personality hire, or that could be the tie break. Yeah,
the cultural fit. But I feel like that's so unfair.
Now they like to say culture add.
What does that even mean?
Deep eye roll. It's like they don't like to use culture fit because it reeks of bias. Like, oh, we want someone that's
but
just
it means
like
the
us.
Same thing.
But culture add is someone that will add to your culture. But the silent part is add exactly what you already have.
Exactly. It means the same thing. It means the same thing.
Anyway, there's actual HR news besides
LinkedIn. You had a case, right?
I did have a case. Okay, so there's 2 cases I want to talk about. No, there's 1 case I want to talk about. Okay, so let me get it up. I want to remember the name of this company because I want to say it and shame them.
See that?
No, not that one. This is the one about the... Okay, so basically, there's a company called Olive Jar Digital. So they're a marketing company.
Okay.
And they basically were taken to tribunal by what was her job title? The head of bid management.
Okay.
And she basically said that she was unfairly dismissed. So what happened is that they had promised her a pay rise. Her name is Grace. So they promised her a pay rise and it was all fine. But then they started to have some financial issues. And so to get out of the pay rise, they basically dismissed her. But they went through that really convoluted process where, you know, the time was coming for them to be given the pay rise. And they was like, oh, so they basically made up some poor performance issues.
That's wild.
And then put her on a PIP.
They put her on a PIP?
Yes. And so the PIP, a purpose of the PIP, according to the judge and with evidence and everything, was to do 2 things. Number 1, be like, we can't give you a pay rise because you're underperforming. And number 2, encourage her to sell more.
That is crazy. That's crazy.
So they were like the people that you need to actually sell more. But she had all this glowing feedback. She was actually doing really good in terms of like, you know, the stuff that she was selling, her bid management or whatever. And yeah, so they did it. So they were like, okay, we're struggling for money, so this will help us do two things: not pay her, but also it'll ginger her to do better.
Wow.
So then obviously like she also had objected, and the judge basically said like it was clearly like a convoluted situation just to avoid giving her the pay rise, and then eventually she was dismissed, and they were like it was unfair dismissal because there was no grounds to do it. And she ended up getting 25k. And I have seen stuff like this before.
That is mad. And this is why people have so many trust issues when it comes to things like PIPs.
Yeah. Also, if you want to just be honest. Also, they could have easily said, based on the fact that, where is it? I think they said that their revenues had fallen and they were having some...
So why couldn't they just communicate that?
Or why couldn't they just done a redundancy? Because if you don't want her around and you don't have the money to sustain her position anymore, then redundancy is the thing that you should do. That's literally what it is. Like, we don't have the money for this role. Your role is not going to exist because we can't afford to have it. Redundancy.
But is it that they couldn't afford to have her, or her salary was... the increase would have taken them over the edge?
Then they should communicate that they can't do that.
Yeah.
But they eventually dismissed her.
It's wild.
Let me check when they dismissed her. Oh yes, so this is what happened when they dismissed her. Basically, she was like, the relationship is like falling down, and she said, you know what, let's just have a conversation about a negotiated exit. So she brought it to the table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she remained off work during this time, and then she completed like basically a handover. Because you know, like sometimes if you're exiting somebody, there's a period of bit of limbo time where it's like, you know, you're discussing it, you know, you're going to get to a final agreement, but you haven't reached a final agreement yet. And so during that time, she sent them some stuff like being helpful.
Yeah.
Sent them stuff like handover, and then when she sent the handover, they basically tried to say it was a resignation. She was like, oh,
what?
Yeah, they said, oh, you've sent your handover. And then they basically said, okay, thanks, we accept your resignation. And then so she took them to the tribunal, and she was like, you basically effectively dismissed me. So yeah, it says here, let me read it to you. So this says the employer tried to reinterpret events. After Grace suggested a negotiated exit, discussions took place between the 2nd and the 20th of May 2024. She remained off work during this time, having completed a final bid and provided a handover note. The tribunal found that Olive Jar Digital's leadership later reinterpreted that handover note as a resignation, even though negotiations were ongoing. The company deactivated her email access on the 21st of May, issuing her a letter claiming she had resigned and asserting that she would have been dismissed anyway for gross misconduct had she not done so. On what basis, I don't know.
Exactly.
The tribunal dismissed those allegations outright, stating that Olive Jar did not come even close to providing evidence of any misconduct, let alone gross misconduct, and had failed to investigate claims properly. There had been some claims made about her performance and her conduct and stuff like that, but obviously it was all, you know, like when companies just start scrambling for anything.
Yeah.
So it was that sort of situation. So anyway, she won 25k.
It's okay.
It's okay.
But that's, you know, they could have avoided that if they just went through the right channels of communication.
There's so many things they could have done differently.
Just got guidance. I always wonder with companies like that, how involved is HR?
These people cannot have HR.
They can't, can they?
They cannot have real HR in this company. It's impossible. Or they can't have good HR. But I can't see it. Like they could have just said, look, I know we had agreed your pay rise, but number one, we might have to defer it. Might not be able to do it. Financial situation. We're trying to retain your role. Trying to retain a lot of roles. We're trying to avoid redundancy. When you tell someone, look, we're trying to avoid redundancy, so we're not going to be issuing pay rises, people think, do I want a pay rise or do I want to keep my job? Like, they'll be reasonable about it most of the time. Let alone, and this is somebody who did your handover. Like, she's obviously not an idiot. She's a practical person, professional.
Yeah.
And then they said, okay, well, you're resigning. Even redundancy pay is only 700 something pounds a year.
And now you have to pay 25k.
Good. But I've seen companies like we did an episode ages and ages and ages ago. I think there was either a dilemma. It was when Foy was here as well, and we spoke about what happens when what is an actual promise of a pay rise, and what does that mean? Like when companies say, "Oh, I'm going to review your pay."
Oh yeah, we did.
Versus if they say you're going to get a pay rise. There's
two very different things. Yeah.
So I wonder in this case what they said to her, because is it like that we're going to review your pay and we'll make sure it goes up, or we'll give you a pay review, or we're going to increase it to X number. Like, I wonder what they said, that if they felt like they had
so
no
pressed.
choice.
Yeah, it's true.
But to do this, like, what kind of promise did they make her?
God knows.
And why are people... I don't believe in making promises of pay rise until the point where you're at the pay rise. Do you know what I mean? Like, why are you making a promise of a pay rise for the future? Like, I don't get it.
Because people like to yap too much. Some of these managers like to just overpromise. But overpromise for what? If she's someone that you didn't even care if she stayed because you put her on the pit to go. So did you even care for her to say? Yeah, like you didn't need to promise anything.
Why do they promise? Like,
pay rises are not a legal requirement. So what's happening? And
even if, you make a promise for a pay rise for the future, why can't you document it now? Because it might be the case that when the new performance year doesn't start, like the new performance year starts on the 1st of July, but I'm telling you now, from that date, you're going to get a pay rise. I can write a letter now saying that pay rise, you've had it and it's effective from the 1st of July. So when people say, oh, when we get to July, we're going to give you some vague statement of we're going to increase your pay. Increase it to what?
Yeah, no.
So that's why I don't understand why companies do that. Like, it's really weird. Or when they offer you a pay review at a certain date, unless it's an annual pay review. Saying someone will review your pay, making a promise to review pay is pointless, I think.
But a lot of companies do it, or a lot of individuals in companies do it, and then it causes a lot of ruckus. Like, it causes people to put it in a grievance later. It causes people to raise complaints. Like, it's so unnecessary because it's just not necessary.
Can I add something? No, I can never tell if I told you on the pod.
Okay, go for it.
Did I tell you about this lady that I was helping who wanted flexible working?
You did. You said it on the pod.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
So, update. So I think I explained that she got an apology.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, I explained she got an apology. Anyway, she has got a new job.
Oh, congrats.
She got a new job. It's 4 days a week. Like, just working 4 days a week, not compressed hours, working 4 days a week. And she got a 15k pay rise.
Really? Love that for her.
That didn't want to give her 2k.
Look at that.
And she's working 4 days a week, 4 days to start, like 80% FTE, rather than doing, the 5 days work over the 4 days. And 15k pay rise.
Look at that.
And she's, resigned from her job. Yeah, I'm so happy for her.
I love that.
Yeah, I just thought that was a nice little story, because they were out here trying not to give her this little pay rise that she was asking for, and they gave it to her reluctantly. And now for like 2-3k or whatever it was,
look at that.
Now she got 15k. That's just to say, sometimes it's not even worth fighting the people or fight them for the time and be looking at the same time.
Nah, for real. Don't block your blessing.
Yeah. One more thing.
Oh yeah. So obviously, you know me, I love to come with my hot takes from Twitter.
I have not been on that app, so like I'm missing so much stuff, and whenever I log in, I just see things that make me want to close the app. Every time.
And basically, there was a viral tweet where somebody said, "Oh my gosh, a company I've been interviewing for has 2.7 on Glassdoor. Should I run?" And someone we both know actually quoted it saying, "If you value your life, you won't entertain any company under 3.9." And a lot of the responses to the tweet were, you have to jump through a lot of hoops, in terms of signing up for Glassdoor. So, you need to take those reviews seriously. And I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on it.
Glassdoor, I think, and we spoke about Glassdoor before when we had that.
Yeah, with Australia.
Yeah. But Glassdoor, I don't think can be trusted. I think the individual reviews probably can be trusted. The accounts that people give can be trusted, but it's not balanced, because like if you work in HR, you work in recruitment, employer brand, you will know that there's a lot of stuff that you can do to kind of make Glassdoor work for or against you. So for instance, I worked in a company where when I started, the Glassdoor reviews were really low. So what we did is we put in the probation pass thing. So happy that you passed, to announce that you passed probation. Why don't you share? We're keen to hear your thoughts. Why don't you share them on Glassdoor? Obviously, someone's just joined the company. They just passed their probation.
They're going to be
great
positive.
Mood.
Yeah,
they're going to be feeling really positive about everything. And then our review, we managed to take our numbers from like 2 point something to the high 3s, or maybe even to the 4s, based on people passing their probation. and encouraging people at promotions, encouraging
yeah.
people at nice points in the employee journey to write a Glassdoor review. And I don't feel bad about that either, because it's like restaurant reviews. You know, sometimes you might write a little restaurant review, or, you know, some companies follow up and tell you, why don't you write a review? Or if something good happens, they'll, you know, they might offer you a discount, and then, you know, all of that kind of stuff. But companies don't always do that. So you're more likely to find the negative things than the positive things. So I believe the negative reviews, but is it representative of the company? You'll never know, because you don't know how the company manages Glassdoor. I've never gone to proactively write anything positive about a company on Glassdoor. The only time I write anything was when I was trying to find out the salaries, and they make you contribute something before you can get something back. But you don't write. I've never thought, oh, great, I'm having a great experience at this company, let me go around the Glassdoor. I thought, this company is trash, let me go tell everyone on Glassdoor.
It's usually disgruntled employees that will leave reviews. For me, when I use Glassdoor, it's more so to look at the benefits and what people think of the benefits, or like the interview process, like how people have found it. But in terms of like actually using it as, oh, can I take a job based on the rating of Glassdoor, I couldn't decide that solely on the Glassdoor rating.
I think it's worth considering.
Yeah,
what people have
consider
said.
it.
But also, I said before, I believe the individual accounts, but it's actually, so I've seen ones that are actually not true. Like, it's all, by the time it gets to Glassdoor, a lot of the time, not all the time, it's emotionally charged, it's someone's perception. So we did like a redundancy round once, and then on the back of that, someone wrote on Glassdoor that the process had been unfair. One thing about me, I ain't gonna do no unfair process. Like, the process will be by the book. So it's like, the process was unfair, I was discriminated against, all of this stuff. Also written by a white man, by the way. Cisgendered, heterosexual, middle class white man was the one that wrote that. I just say that because, not to say that he can't be discriminated against in some way, able-bodied.
Covering all the bases.
But we wrote such a scathing review. We actually got Glassdoor to take it down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was like, I don't think you can do that. CEO was like, ask them, they'll probably will take it down. I was like, are you sure? And we wrote, and they took it down.
Really?
I didn't even know Glassdoor could do that. But
Look at that.
We said this contains things that is factually incorrect. It's not opinion based. Like, it is. And the CEO was like, tell them it's slanderous or whatever, libel or whatever. Anyway, they took it down. They're not really interested in fighting. They didn't tell us who wrote it. Obviously, we knew who wrote it, but they took it down. So yeah, when it comes to Glassdoor, I think definitely read everything you can get your hands on, but you have to take it with a pinch of salt. You don't know if that will be the lived experience of the people. I'm like, if I see something on Glassdoor, I might be more likely to try and then find someone who works at the company, not cold, because I think that's crazy, but someone through someone that you know, or something like that.
Just sense check.
To see like, does this resonate with the people that are actually at the company? Have you ever had somebody reach out to you from just to ask you about the views of the company that you're working at? That you don't know. I think it's so strange.
When I was at Meta, that used to happen all the time.
I think it's very strange.
People would be in the interview process and be like, "Oh, hi Velisa, like I'm in the interview process for this role. Could you tell me about the company?" All the time. I've had people reach out to me I don't know, to like do not know from Adam, like ask me to talk to the hiring manager. Like I've had that.
I just think it's mad. Like, I get wanting to understand the experience from somebody, but like, I've had it where it's like, especially I work in smaller organizations, right? So you're coming to ask me about the experience. I might even be the one that's recruiting for the role. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
It's just weird to be like, oh, what's your experience been like? Is it a nice place to work? I think it's fine, but I just think coming at it cold, not even knowing the person or what lens they could be having with no referral or anything, I just think I wouldn't do it personally.
No. I feel like there's always somebody you know that knows somebody.
Even if it's got to be like a second
I
connection.
feel like there's always some route to it.
I think I mentioned before, there was a time when I was doing a maternity benchmarking piece of work at a client, and I needed to know all of the maternity policies of their competitors. And that was the time I was like, no, I actually have a network on LinkedIn. I was like, who do I know that works at these companies? And if I didn't know anyone, what I was doing was going to the company page and looking through their employees and seeing who I have mutual connections with. So I'll be like, okay, if I saw that, for instance, you know someone who works at, I don't know, Virgin Media, I'll be like, okay, Velisa, how well do you know Tony? And you'll be like, oh, I know them. All right. I'll be like, okay, how well do you know Sandra? You're like, oh, I know, she's my girl. Okay, introduce me to Sandra. I need something. Sandra just gets it off the internet, sends it to me. We're good to go. Like, you just have to use your network as much as you can. But I think it's important to read Glassdoor.
Yeah, I think it's important.
Did you look at the Glassdoor of the company that
I'm at now? I did.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's decent. Okay. It's decent. It was all right.
I've never seen a Glassdoor. I thought, oh, that's amazing.
But it's all relative, isn't it? Like even with at the time with Meta, their Glassdoor reviews were like fantastic. But then when you're in the company and you see the intricacies of how things work and stuff, your mind changes, isn't it?
Yeah. Fair.
Use Glassdoor, but don't let that be your only source.
Literally. I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, comment, subscribe. Road to 5K.
Woo!
On YouTube.
Woo!
And on Spotify. And on everything.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, guys.
That's a wrap, guys. Bye.